we just began our walk on the trail to Potholes, Glacial Potholes.
I don't know how deep it actually is. They gave me a beef stick as well.
You put a beef stick in there.
Fried green beans, onion rings, fried pickles.
Here's that for you.
Thank you.
Good morning, guys, from Scandia, Minnesota.
Welcome to our first full Minnesota vlog. We haven't had a chance to show you much of it yet, so oops, GPS. So we are going to show you some of the most beautiful parts of Minnesota, especially during the autumn season when all the leaves are changing.
You probably saw in the intro right there that the leaves are changing. This is the best part of the year for the leaves during the fall, and the colors are incredible. There are a bunch of these yellows, reds, and oranges, every shade that you can find. So we're gonna get some more drone shots for you if we can as we do this little road trip. We're gonna go on a hike. We're going to a place called Taylor's Falls. And the reason we are here is because Lindsay lives here. This is where she was born.
Can you put your seatbelt on?
All right, seatbelt's on. I'm safe. And so anyway, this is where Lindsay is from. She was born here, born and raised in the Scandia area of Minnesota. It's what, about an hour, probably less, from the main city of Minneapolis?
Yep, it's about an hour north of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and it's a tiny little town. We just arrived at Interstate State Park, which is within the town of Taylor's Falls. It's a small little town. I think the population's at about 1,000 and
less than 1,000. So very, very small town. Let's go check it out. I guess we're seeing some potholes.
Ancient potholes.
Okay, we just began our walk on the trail to Potholes. Glacial potholes
That are old as old can be. So while we've been walking on this trail, it's actually been pretty surprising. We've seen quite a few people walking around, and it's in the middle of the day on a Friday, so go figure. Maybe a lot of people are working from home because of COVID. And we've even seen people wearing masks outside on these trails.
And that's a little different because most people, while they're out in nature, pretty much far away from other people, from what we've seen in Minnesota and South Dakota, they're not wearing their masks because you're kind of far from people anyway. You're in an open air environment.
So one of the main things we want to show you today is how beautiful Minnesota can be in the fall. The leaves are changing, and you don't see that too often around the world. Only certain areas in the world will do this.
So we have a big international audience, a lot of people from South America and other places in the world. So we thought it would be really cool to show some of you guys this. So take a look at these leaves. We're walking through some right now.
This, my friends, is the St. Croix River. These are ladybugs, and they are out all over the place this time of year. Asian beetles, otherwise known as.
Yeah, they're all over this area. They're just flying around everywhere. So this part we're about to go to is called the Potholes State Park, and there are about 200 of these glacial potholes. So it is pretty crazy. They're immense holes in the earth made from glaciers and the sand and water kind of carving out these holes into the earth. I don't think there's much like this anywhere else in the world. So pretty cool we get to see that here in Minnesota. You never would have thought.
And they're 10,000 years old. Wow.
So I think this trail is about a half a mile long trail, and so pretty soon we should be to the potholes.
It is hot. So normally this time of year is not this warm, but today it's like almost 80 degrees. And we've been hiking uphill, so taking this off. Minnesota is known for unpredictable weather. Literally in a week it could be snowing and it wouldn't surprise me.
Look at that, there's someone kayaking in the Croix River. That looks like fun. Huh?
St. Croix River.
St. Croix River. We should go kayaking down there, that would be awesome. Look at that. Don't know if you can see them down there, but there are all these cliffs and this gorge here. Awesome. So look at this, even though this thing is covered with water and you can't really see all the way down, this is what it looks like under there. The glacial St. Croix River covered this area 10,000 years ago. It was fed by melting glaciers, some almost a mile high, that covered the area's land. So the river's powerful currents spun sand and silt in giant eddies, basically whirlpools, until they forcefully drilled holes into the hard rock at your feet. These natural water drills left behind over 400 potholes in this park. Okay, let's do it. So this is pretty cool. Everywhere where we're walking right now, we were under the river. The ancient glacial river. And so these potholes that you're seeing, they were actually way under water at the bottom where these spirals of water went down. So right now we would just be in the river in this whole park. Hey, here's a mini pothole. So cool. It's probably on YouTube. So these tugboats that you see over here, they've been in service for over 100 years. We're not sure if these are the same ones or if they're just like a new version of these old things, but they look the same way. So it's like they're still building them the same way. So you can actually take tours of the river on these little tugboats here.
We found this pothole that we can actually stand by and potentially go into if we wanted. I don't know how deep it actually is. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it goes way down in there. I don't want to find out.
Something we've learned recently is Americans love national parks and state parks during a pandemic. It seems like everybody's here.
The parking lot's full.
Yeah, when you go out to other places, it seems like people are kind of staying inside, staying away from people, but when it comes to the parks and nature, they like being out here. So this is where the party's at in America. Get your national park pass and
come hang out.
Hello guys, I'm an angry leaf.
I like him. You guys see the angry face in the leaf?
that's Lindsay right now. So you'll see across the street here, this is the little town of Taylor's Falls, which is right next to where we've been. So let's go show you Taylor's Falls really quick. Really cool little town. What's also cool about this place, this park, is that it's in 2 states. So part of it is in Minnesota, where we've been, and part of it is in Wisconsin. So I think we're gonna show you a little bit of the Wisconsin side. Am I right?
Yep, we are right on the border, and next we're going to the Wisconsin side.
You get to see 2 states in one day.
Wow.
Come on, that's amazing. Welcome to Taylor's Falls. Wow. Look at all the people eating outside here. So we just got to a small town diner bar outdoor experience here in the town of
Taylor's Falls.
Here in the town of Taylor's Falls, Minnesota. So we wanted to show you what a small town experience would be like, and also an experience like this during COVID, just to show you what it's like here.
And there are tons of people. We could hardly even find a seat here. We had to wait a little bit, and at Seat Yourself, we finally found one. The food looks amazing. It looks like typical American food, very greasy and fresh off the grill. Or the fresh off the fryer, maybe.
Yeah, probably, because we're in the Midwest.
No one's really wearing masks, but in Minnesota it seems like people feel a lot safer when they're outside, so they don't wear the masks as often.
Yeah, so there are probably about 100 people here and nobody's wearing masks. Almost nobody. It's pretty crazy. A little different from some other areas of the world right now where everybody wears a mask at all times, inside or outside.
And we're ready to get a few drinks. I'm gonna get a Bloody Mary, which is tomato juice with vodka and spices. Sometimes they go overboard and they do like a skewer stick with like a beef stick, pickle, cheese. What else?
Cheese?
Yeah.
Wow.
Alright, it's confirmed.
Okay, we just got our stuff. So first of all, the most exciting part, Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary. So,
Wow.
olive, which I'm not a fan of. What's it called?
A pepper.
A yellow pepper and a pickle, and then they gave me a beef stick as well.
You put a beef stick in there.
Interesting.
Dang. And then this is made with kind of like a tomato juice. It's very salty. And then I just got a Angry Orchard hard cider made with apples.
Nummy. So refreshing. Alright, and then we got a combination platter to try a few different things. In here there are fried green beans, onion rings, fried pickles, cheese curds, mac and cheese bites.
This is how we eat in the US.
And ranch goes on everything. Everyone here loves ranch dressing.
A lot of people even take their pizza and they dip it in ranch in the US.
That's good.
You don't see that all over the world.
I have ranch on everything. Chicken, pizza.
This is just like a bucket of fried foods. You don't usually fry pickles or green beans. Like, this is how you do vegetables in the US.
They put a breading on them and fry them, and there you go.
You have your vegetable inside there. Wow. And then this thing is awesome. It's a cheese curd. Fried, so it's just cheese in there, but a fried, crispy rind
Breaded
on
cheese,
it.
yeah.
That is awesome.
Next up, fried pickle.
So this is the mac and cheese bite. Look at that.
They actually put noodles in that breading. Wow.
Now we have some tater tots. These are actually potatoes, like shredded or diced potatoes put into a little fried ball. And then we have some fish. This is like a big fish stick with fries.
So for miles and miles there are trails just like these that go all through the trees, and the leaves are falling and changing colors. It's so pretty, and it goes around a lake. Take a look. You can see the reflections of the leaves and the trees on the lake.
I think this is a good place for a drone shot. coolest thing about Minnesota at this time is this. The colorful leaves.
Look at these. Yellow, oranges, reds. So in the winter, it takes a lot of energy for these trees to keep their leaves. And in the winter, the trees don't get a lot of sun or water. So in order to conserve their energy, sometimes they will shed their leaves. And that's what happens here in Minnesota. They will change color and drop the leaves.
So plants and trees need the sun to make chlorophyll, which makes the pigment in the leaves, which makes them green. And so once it gets to be fall and winter, there's less sun to make this chlorophyll. So it would just be too much energy for the plant to keep these leaves and to keep the green color.
So as the chlorophyll decreases, the colors change in the leaves. So that's why you see these reds, yellows, oranges. Minnesota is known for the weather being very different for each season. So right now we're in fall. In winter it snows, it gets extremely cold, and in the summer it gets extremely hot and humid. This is my favorite time of the year. As you can see, it's just gorgeous. There's this golden glow right now with the sunset. So one thing that is related to COVID that we found at this park, some of the drinking fountains are covered up with duct tape and garbage bags. They must not want people touching them and drinking out of them to prevent the spread of COVID, but pretty interesting. Never seen anything like that.
That's the end of our hike. We're gonna go to a drive-in now. Lindsay says it's an awesome place.
Do you know what a drive-in is?
They come around on roller skates and serve you food, like a diner,
And you eat in your car.
to your car. So that seems like kind of an American thing. You wouldn't get that many places in the world. So that should be pretty cool.
Oh, there's a poodle skirt.
Okay, we just parked at the drive-in and people are in their poodle skirts and like things from the 1950s. So that's pretty cool. And they all have masks on because of COVID.
This place has a lot of character. I've actually never been here before, but it's pretty well known in the area. We're not sure exactly how it works, but I think they service in our cars. We're trying to scope it out. We're not sure if we order in our car and they bring it to us or if we have to stand in line.
So drive-ins used to be easier. A lot of people would sit in their cars, like actually in the 50s, and they would take their food in their cars in 1950s America. But these days they do things a little differently. So even if you go to a drive-in, it's more for like the aesthetic of it, and it's not as easy to tell if you're actually allowed to sit in your car or what. But we'll wait for them for a little while and see if they come up here.
Hi, how are you guys today?
Good, how are you?
Good. Here's a menu for you. Give you guys a few minutes to look it over and I'll be out to take your order.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess they do take our order at the car.
Okay, let's see what kind of food they have.
Burgers, fries, veggie burgers, onion rings, cheese curds. We already had a lot of those. Ooh, the good part. Malts,
Milkshakes.
floats and freezes. I'm gonna get a root beer float.
All right, small or large?
Do you want any?
Yeah.
Large.
All right, and do you want it in a mug or a plastic cup?
Mug, please.
Okay, is that it for you?
Yeah.
All right, I'll get that in right away.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here's that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And is there anything else I can grab for you right away?
No, that's it. Thank
All
you.
right, sounds good. You enjoy.
Thank you. So she had me roll up my window halfway so she could put this tray on here. And we just got served a root beer float, which is root beer with ice cream. And they make the root beer here. And we didn't even have to leave our car to get it.
Root beer floats are famous when you're a kid. I don't think I've had one since I was young. Got that root beer down there. Take a little bit of ice cream up top. Mix it together. Wow. soda and ice cream and all that fried food earlier, this is the US.
Look at the car next to us. I'll creep around Alex's head here. You can see the tray sitting out there. They ordered some root beer too.
Not a float though. We're gonna go back to Lindsay's house and we're gonna have a family bonfire. So maybe we'll show you that, maybe we won't. Alright guys, now it's time for Q&A.
It's been a while since we've done this, but we have some good questions from you guys that we've been saving. First one comes from
Simona Chorai.
She asks, have you decided on the next country? Greece is still open for tourists, especially the islands.
We have just decided on our next country, but we can't tell you that yet. We want it to be a surprise. We're gonna film our whole day leading up to where we're going, and you'll find out when we get there.
Next question comes from Kazi Cup. Which country is safer for travelers, Colombia or Peru? Especially for a woman who travels alone. So I would say they felt very similar as far as safety goes. Basically, you just use your common sense and you should be okay. Don't go down any dark alleys when it's late and dark outside. And just have your wits about you.
So Colombia has been known as a very dangerous country for many, many years because of the drug thing. But they're really turning around in the last 5 years, so it seems like it's less of a dangerous place than it used to be. Peru doesn't seem very dangerous, but from what we heard, somewhere like Lima can be very dangerous. So sometimes the big cities, those can be the most dangerous ones. So it depends where you go. I'd say as a country as a whole, Peru seems probably safer. Colombia's getting that way, but that's just a guess. That's just an opinion after we traveled.
And we spent most of our time in Peru in Cusco, so if you're a solo female traveler or a solo traveler in general, I would say Cusco and Sacred Valley in Peru would be a great place to start off.
Very safe. We never felt unsafe the whole time, carrying around a big camera, doing whatever we wanted. Never felt unsafe. Next
one comes from Deirdre Brown, asking, do you guys ever get tired or burnt out?
We do. From editing the videos to filming constantly, it's hard. You don't really realize it until you do it straight for many days that it takes a toll after a while, having to constantly have the camera on. When we're about to eat some food, we have to take out the camera to film it while it still looks good before we shove it in our mouths. So we can't just receive our plate when we're hungry and just eat it. That's just an example. That
a lot of times we eat our food cold. And speaking from someone who knew nothing about YouTube, before I met Alex, I thought that creating YouTube videos wasn't really that hard. I just thought, oh, these people make a lot of money just by putting out a few videos. But actually, it is a lot of work. A lot more is involved than you would think. The editing process, the filming process, it's hard. But we like it, but it's hard.
And we have not learned our lesson at all, because look forward to daily videos for the first time. We're gonna try very hard to do daily for a little while, just see how it goes, be a little more raw, get a lot of videos out there for you guys. And so we're gonna be filming and editing every single day.
Trying our best. We'll see how it goes, but we will definitely try.
Let us know what you think when they come out. Alright guys, that's the end of this Q&A. We want to keep it short so that we can add a Q&A to the next video. We're going to really try to start putting our Q&As in like every other video if we can.
Like we used to do.
Yeah, at least a few times a week so that you guys can interact with us, ask us questions, and we can answer whatever's on your mind.
Yeah, so sorry we've fallen off. Please leave your question below if you want to answer it in a future Q&A. Thank you for watching. Click that like button if you liked this video. It helps us out a lot. And click the subscribe video if you want to see more videos like this one.
Click the subscribe video.
Oh.
Click the subscribe button if you want to see more from us.
You guys knew what I meant.
Because we're traveling around the world and we're sharing it all with you. And we'll see you in the next video.